brrr. Is your furnace almost constantly on? If you're watching Sunday with us for this online worship, the high today is 0. Last night the low was 17 below. Brrr. So we are glad to be able to bring you some warm online worship moments. And again, we're hoping and praying that we will all stay safe and warm. It's not hard to shelter in place when it's that cold outside. So we're going to continue today. Ken Vogel is going to bring us the message today. He's going to continue with some warm wisdom for us as we think about our selfishness, our stubbornness, and our shame. How can we bring wisdom to those things that afflict all of us? And so looking forward to that. In a moment, we're going to pray the Lord's Prayer together. We'll go into today's worship singing. We're going to sing the wonderful song. It's just the title of it. Doesn't seem like it would be a wonderful song, but it's Bones. But some of you will remember this song. It's this idea that when we sing it, it's, "Oh, Jesus, you're alive in me." He's alive in our bones. But right before we pray the Lord's Prayer and get into our singing, again, our middle school students in Core and our high school students in Crave, they continue to meet Wednesday evenings here at New Hope. Again, a number of our middle schoolers and high schoolers come. Some gather online. But we always like to provide them with a little snack when they're coming. And so we were talking, we want you to maybe go out and get a big bag of chips. I picked this up at Woodman's the other day when I was there shopping. And so a big box of chips like this goes a long way for some of those middle schoolers. Or another thing that I picked up to donate is some Smart Food popcorn. There's 10 bags. And again, when the students come on Wednesday nights, they go through these resources pretty quick. But we're always glad to give them a little snack because we want them to know about Jesus. We keep thinking about Jesus, keep presenting Jesus to them. We want them to be following Jesus 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 40 years from now. So when you buy a bag of chips, you're investing in eternity. And so we want to continue to invest in eternity. So again, thank you for your online offerings. Thank you for your mailed-in offerings. Thank you for believing that God's kingdom is ever warmly expanding in us and through us and all around us and way beyond us. Let's join together and pray the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
You can take my dry bones, breathe life into this skin. You call me by name, raise me to life again. You can calm the oceans, speak peace into my soul. Take me as I am, awaken my heart to beat again. Oh, oh, Jesus. As I stand and sing, you're breaking the chains off me. Oh, 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 Jesus. Oh, oh, Jesus. Oh, oh, Jesus. Alive in me. Alive in me. Alive in me. Alive in me. Breathe in me your life, I can feel you are close now. I can never hide, you are here and you know me. All I need is you and I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Breathe in me your life, like your love overtakes me. Open up my eyes, let me see you more clearly. Falling on my knees till I love like you love me. I love you. Oh, oh, Jesus. Oh, oh, Jesus. Oh, oh, Jesus. Alive in me. Breathe in me your life, I can feel you are close now. I can never hide, you are here and you know me. All I need is you and I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Breathe in me your life till your love overtakes me. Open up my eyes, let me see you more clearly. Falling on my knees till I love like you love me. I love you. Oh, oh, Jesus. Oh, oh, Jesus. Oh, oh, Jesus. Alive in me. Alive in me. Alive in me. Alive in me. Here, as we wait, seek your face. Come and make your throne upon our praise. Here in this place, have your way. The moment that we see you, we are changed. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. In wonder and surrender we fall down. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Jesus, you change everything. Lives healed, hope found here now. Jesus, you change everything. Oh, chains fall, fear bow, here now. Jesus, you change everything. Lives healed, hope found here now. Jesus, you change everything. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. In wonder and surrender we fall down. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Let every burning heart be holy ground.
Good morning, New Hope. My name is Ken Vogel, and this will never stop being an honor for me to share a message with you this morning. I thought about being here in this building where I met my wife, where I proposed to my wife, where I married my wife, where we've done jingle jams, where I've given messages. This is truly, personally and spiritually, this is sacred ground for me. And it means the world, and I'm so thankful for it. So when I was talking to my wife, Sarah, about this message, she said, Ken, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to speak on? And I said, actually, it's going to be wisdom. And I got a little look of bewilderment. She said, we just got done with a wisdom series. Did Pastor Jeff ask you to be part of that series or a continuation of it? No, actually not at all. I would actually argue that the message I gave last year, which was part of a series for the first time, was arguably the worst message that I've given on this stage. And apparently Pastor Jeff realized it too, because he said, you know what, for this one, just go ahead, just speak from your heart. Whatever God's got for you, you just go ahead. And so that's what we're doing. And so I am fortunate enough to work at a place where every Monday for half an hour to 45 minutes, I have a preset time where we spiritually riff, a coworker and I, Lucas, and we just get to talk about God and how God's performing in our life and how he can utilize that for stuff in his department going forward and how I can utilize it. But let's be honest, we're usually getting more out of that personally than we are professionally, but we're fortunate enough to have that opportunity. And so he had come to me with a couple of verses, and man, did that rung true to me. It pierced my soul. And it's been with me ever since, and so I said, this is it. God's telling me this is what to speak on. So we are going to talk about wisdom after getting done with a series about wisdom, and I'm so excited. So the verses today are James 1, 4 through 5. So I'm going to read these for you, starting with verse 4. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Now, I'm specifically going to focus on verse 5, but verse 4, like if you need a new verse to have on your bathroom mirror, like at the start of your day, in preparation for this, I've read it hundreds of times, I'll be honest. And each time, let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Are you kidding me? I read that, I could run through a brick wall. So, I just wanted to throw that out there. We're not focusing on verse 4, but what a verse. What a verse. All right, but verse 5. So if any of you lacks wisdom, right? So the easy thing for me would be to stand up here and say, seek God for wisdom. Fair? I think we all know that. I would argue that we could all sensibly agree that we need to seek God for wisdom. Or maybe I could give you some specific tips or some anecdotes of like how you can seek wisdom from God in your everyday life. But I don't want to do that. I want to realize the things that keep us from asking God for wisdom. I don't want to build a bridge on a boulder today. I want to knock the boulder over. So when I looked at my life, when I internally, right? So this is never like, here's what you should do. Here's the things that I struggle with that maybe you struggle with as well. So there's 3 of them. There are 3 S's in my life that keep me from seeking the wisdom of God. So I'm going to go through those 3 things with you today. So they all start with S, the 3 S's, right? So the first S is selfishness. Selfishness keeps me at bay from God. Let's just start with the beginning of verse 5. If any of you lacks wisdom, if any of you lacks wisdom, I started this by saying we could all agree, we could all argue, we all need the wisdom of God. But God, like this verse is essentially pandering to our selfishness. It is saying, if any of you lacks wisdom, right? Like I stopped at Quick Trip the other day, and there was a young man with a tray with little cups with a little spoon in there, they were adorable, of beef stroganoff. And he said, "Sir, would you like to try some of our beef stroganoff in these wide open containers in the middle of a pandemic?" No, I don't know that I would have said yes prior to, but no, I do not desire your open food while all this is going on. I'm just going to stop, get my Coca-Cola, and keep continuing my healthy lifestyle. Thank you. But sometimes I feel like God is just, I've got some wisdom here if you'd like it. And we treat him like this poor kid at Quick Trip that like he has any choice. He knows what he's offering, right? But God is offering us this wisdom. And this verse starts off with, if any of you lacks wisdom, if you would like it, because it's our selfishness says, you know what? We've got this, God. Maybe later. Maybe next time. No, thank you. We are, at our worst, a 3-year-old child in the rain saying no to coming inside. We're literally stomping our foot and going, no, to whatever wisdom God is trying to impart in us. Except God's not in the house saying, you know what, he'll come in when he's ready. Ken will come in when he's ready. God's standing out there in the rain with us, holding an umbrella saying, let me know when you want to get under this thing. Let me know. And while we're on this weather analogy, I'm going to go a step further, and I'm going to argue that we view some days like they're sunshine and rainbows, unicorns, the whole 9, and some days it's storming, and some days it's really rough. And I don't know about you, but the days that are rough, I'm a lot more able to tap God on the shoulder and say, hey, I need you, than the sunshine. I am a lot more likely to say please than thank you because of inherent selfishness. And I'm not even going to spend that much time on selfishness because we know when we're being selfish. We know when we're deciding, you know what, God? No, not today. Maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow doesn't look good either. We know when we're being selfish. We know when we're being 3-year-olds. But I would argue when we're standing outside with God with that umbrella, that there aren't sunshine days, that every day rain's coming down. Once in a while, it's just kind of a slow, and some days it's storming, but that's because sin is all around us. Sin is coming down on us every single day, and every single day we could use that umbrella. Because sin does not come and go, sin does not enter and exit, sin does not take a number and wait for its turn. Sin is all around us. So we need to stop acting like a 3-year-old, take the umbrella. Selfishness needs to be squashed. Second S, the second one, and this one, I could just feel it in my body when I say it out loud, stubbornness. Stubbornness is what keeps me at bay from God most often. Now, I want to focus on the time right before church. As we look at stubbornness, I want to focus on that time leading into coming to church. Because let's be honest, church, on a normal, average church day, we are talking about 60 minutes. 60 minutes is not a lot of time. If you need proof of this, let's say God came to you and God said, tell you what, keep the 10%. Keep your tithe, keep your money. I just want 10% of your time. Do you have 16.8 hours laying around? Please don't check the math. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not. It's fine. Do you have 16.8 hours laying around to give to God this week? We're talking about 60 minutes on a normal church Sunday morning. So let's focus on that time prior to coming in. So for me personally, right, depending on what day of the week it is, my wife is awake before me. That's every day, okay? So she's getting ready. So then I get up, right? I'm getting ready. This past Sunday, actually, I was out shoveling. I'm at the age where the frozen tire tracks in the driveway, they drive me nuts. I can't drive over them, okay? So I'm out shoveling before we leave for church. Then I'm going to take the dog outside, and I'm going to say, come on, bud, hurry up, even though his bowels will do the transaction when he is good and ready, and I will wait. So really, I'm the one being a good boy, okay? So, all right, so I'm finished getting ready. I'm all set. I'm doing the dog thing. I'm doing like shoveling, whatnot. Sarah's still getting ready. It's fine. Okay, so we jump in the car. We're coming to church. It is a 10 to 12-minute drive, 10 minutes if she's driving, 12 minutes if I'm driving. We pull in sometimes the entrance, sometimes the exit. We will park on the New Hope Christian School side. We will pull our car into the spot. I will put the car in park. I will turn the volume of the music to an acceptable decibel because we all know we crank it more and more the longer we're in the car. I will turn off the heat. I will turn off the car. I will exit the car. I will go into church. And at roughly 8:59, I will take my seat near the back row and prepare myself. Except I haven't prepared myself at all. Right? We just said it was 60 minutes. Now we're coming in, we're worshiping, we are taking the elements, we are getting a message, we are praying, we are doing the whole nine. It is a 60-minute spiritual sprint. And did you stretch? Did I stretch? Have I done anything to prepare myself for the spiritual sprint in front of me? And if I'm looking at a typical morning, what I'm typically working through, I would argue, I did not. I have not prepared myself coming to be in this time with God. My goal was to get here and be here, and I have checked that box. I have accomplished it. We are good to go. God, let's do some work. So I'm going to sit in the back with whatever I've been working through during the week, with my hardened heart, with my wall of anger and my wall of discontent, not stretched out, and I'll take a seat and I'll say, all right, God. I know you can still do it. I know you could work through all this, but you got 60 minutes. Let's see what you got. I am essentially testing God. So here's what I want us to do instead. I want us to stretch. I want us to stretch. So now I'm specifically going to focus on coming into being part of the church body. We can't wait to have everybody back in this building. But if you are watching online, if you're watching from home, we're so thankful. We're so thankful that you're taking part and being part of it. So from home, I want you to stretch in a different room than you're taking in church. And when you come to church, I want you to be church because there's more distractions, there's more things going on, right? So do this in a separate room, but the principles still apply. So here's what I want us to do. So specifically coming into church, when we pull in the car, we put it in park, we turn the radio off, but then stop. I want you to leave that car on. I want you to leave the heat running for obvious reasons. And I want this to be a family event. I want this to be a family stretch happening. I might go old school in the February cold a week from Sunday and greet people coming in from a distance just to see if families are stretching in their cars before they come in. All right? So here's what I want you to unbuckle the seatbelts even with the engines running. I know, we're breaking the rules this morning. But free of the seatbelt, with the car running, with the heat still going, individually, with somebody, families together. If you're all alone, it doesn't matter. We need to stretch before we come in here, and here's what we're going to do. If you're the one driving or whoever's driving, it's going to give it a second. You're going to pause, and you're going to say, okay, 2 words. Let's stretch. And here's what you're going to do. Ah! You are going to let go of what you were carrying. You are going to let go of what was weighing you down. You're going to get rid of it. Because God will work through those walls. God will attack a hardened heart and be with it. Man, wouldn't it be so much easier to make it easier on yourself to drop the stubbornness, to come sit in the back row and say, God, do your will. Let's see what you got. Let's see where you're at. We are going to let out a spiritual stretch, a war cry, whatever we want to call it. Because we are going to drop what we had coming in order to give it up for these 60 minutes, this 60-minute spiritual stretch. Because if we're coming in half-hearted, if we're treating our time with God like an as-seen-on-TV infomercial, where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it makes a pretty big impact, we don't have to wonder at the end why it didn't pierce your heart other than it's you. You didn't stretch, you weren't ready, you weren't prepared. Stubbornness needs to be recognized. So we hit 2. We hit selfishness. We hit stubbornness. The third S is shamefulness. Shamefulness keeps me at bay from God the longest. So we hear people say that, yeah, I'm selfish. We hear people say that I'm stubborn. But do people say, I am shame? Is that a characteristic? I would argue that it's not. I would argue that shame is all-encompassing. I would argue that shame is all-being. You don't see a dog hide part of their tail between their legs. It's very important to recognize that you have value. It is very important when we talk about shame to know that you have value. Don't look away. Look at me. You are enough. You always have been enough. You always will be enough. Because if we are talking about something that you feel that you are not worthy of, then you will not ask for it. If selfishness is defiance, and stubbornness doesn't want to, then it's no longer a question of whether you want to when it comes to shamefulness. It's a question of whether we can. It goes from a happy heart to a willing heart to a lack of heart. From won't to shouldn't to can't. That is why shamefulness keeps me at bay from God the longest. Because it's not me saying no, knowing that I should be saying yes. It's not me saying fine and dragging my feet. It's me simply saying, God, I don't know if I can. It's hard to be in a relationship when we're the only ones failing, when we're the only ones capable of failing, when we're the only ones falling short, when we're the ones constantly having to say, here's how I messed up, here's how I screwed up. It's hard. It is difficult. Except we need to keep in mind that God doesn't ask us to hit that bar. We aimed for that bar, and then we're covered in forgiveness and love. That's the important thing. This isn't a give and take. This isn't a seesaw. When we jump off the seesaw, God does not fall. But when we jump back on, we are lifted higher than we ever could have imagined. That's what this relationship looks like. Let me put a real-world example behind it. Have you ever had to ask to borrow money? That is fun. That is, who doesn't want to do that? So you ask, hey, can I borrow some money? And this is typically followed by two responses. Two responses, one of which, no. No, you may not. Have a good day. And the second response is, sure. Followed by, how much do you need? Now you see, Dave Ramsey says, do not borrow money to friends or family unless you're prepared to never see it again. Nothing wrecks relationships faster. And I think it's incredible when people are willing to risk, this financial, I mean, that's great. How much do you need? They are willing to give you the minimum of what you need to get to whatever that next point is. God doesn't do the minimum. God doesn't know the minimum. God overflows. God gives generously. You should ask God, who gives generously to all, but again, hitting on the shame without finding fault. That's like borrowing money, God giving you the wallet, and not bothering to ask, well, how did you get yourself in this position in the first place? Oh, generously. You have this cup, it's overflowing. It is overflowing. Shamefulness needs to be overcome. Now, when we talk about shamefulness, I've been open and honest with the fact that I have struggled with aspects of my mental health over the course of my lifetime. I no longer view it as a war that I'm trying to win. It's just a series of battles. Quite honestly, sometimes I'm just trying to survive. And so when I was working through some of the things going on in my life, I was working with Peter Leschke, who's a pastor over at Christ Rock Church. Amazing man. Amazing leader, just amazing fill in the blank. That's who this guy is. So he challenged me to do something. And if this strikes a chord with you, I would challenge you to do the same this morning, or this evening, whenever you're watching it. He said, go to some of your closest friends, your loved ones, and ask them to write a letter to you of things that they like about you. You want me to do what? It's kind of weird. But I did. I went to Sarah, my girlfriend, and 3 of my friends, and I said, I've been asked to do this. Would you feel comfortable? Would you be willing to do this for me? Because on the days that I'm struggling and I'm internally telling myself a part of a story that isn't true, that I'm choosing to believe, these are the types of things that could tell me that it's nonsense to not believe it and bring me back. So you know what they did? They said, yeah. How much do you need? When do you need it by? This was 6, 7, 8 years ago. It's been a while. But these letters are some of my most cherished possessions. And so for the first time, publicly, I want to share some of them with you. I didn't really ask. I just kind of told them. Hope it's okay. Thanks, guys. But I want to share just a few excerpts of lines from these letters. And I want to share them with you today. Because shamefulness needs to be overcome. When I think of Ken, someone I can talk to about anything, someone I can depend on, except for being on time. I even get ribbed in the letter. A unique personality, one of a kind, someone I can be real with. I think of a selfless, charming, valuable human being. He's the best godfather a child has ever had. I love to watch the way Ken loves our son so much. You are selfless. You are kind. You have a great sense of humor. The organizer of friends. You are one of the best listeners. And I purposely saved Sarah's to last because I thought it was funny that she categorized the items, but number 2, she listed wise. Ken is wise with his choices, the way he spends his time, how he handles conflict. But then she later goes on to say, Ken's heart for the Lord is inspiring. He looks to God for wisdom, knowledge, and strength. I can tell you that there is no number 2 without number 6. That there is no Ken is wise without Ken looks to God for wisdom. There's one more place that I receive letters. There's one more place where I receive words of uplifting nature. There's one more place where I find words when I think that shamefulness is the only thing that I can work through. And I printed them off, and I want to read them to you. Psalm 16:8, I have set the Lord always before me because he is at my right hand, I shall not be shaken. Psalm 23:4, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Psalm 31:24, be strong and let your heart take courage, all of you who wait for the Lord. Psalm 46:7, the Lord of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob is our fortress. Psalm 55:22, cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. Psalm 62:6, he only is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be shaken. I encourage you, I implore you, ask for these letters, have these letters, but I'm here to tell you today, you already have them. They have already been scribed for you. They are all set for you. That was just Psalm. God has scribed letters for each and one of us. He has done that because Jesus does not know selfishness. Jesus does not know stubbornness. And if anyone has taken care of our shame, it is Jesus who died naked on a cross for us. For shame is to be overcome, selfishness is to be squashed, and stubbornness is to be recognized. I pray, and then I'll pray. I pray that if any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, without finding shame. I added that part. And it will be given to you. Let us pray. God, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for us to gather physically, virtually, spiritually. God, your wisdom overflows. It overflows, and it is available to us and can impact us in such a multitude of ways. All we have to do is ask. God, I pray that we knock down hurdles. God, I pray that we eliminate boulders and we establish that bridge to you, that bridge for wisdom. Because with the wisdom of God, there's nothing we can't do and nothing we won't accomplish. In your name we pray. Amen.
Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me
So we just sang Do It Again, and so we're going to be praying, do it again, God. Give us wisdom. Give us your grace. Help us to follow you. Warm our weather up again. We know he's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. So again, our thanks to Ken for bringing the message. Looking forward to next week's message from Professor, the Reverend Dr. Dan Pavla, a seminary classmate of mine, a good friend for many, many years now. Again, we are asking for donations to our Core and Crave ministries, our middle school and high school student ministries. So if you're out shopping or you're online ordering and can drop it off along with other food donations as we continue to try to help people during this whole pandemic, please thank you for doing that. So let's go out. Let's warm ourselves up with Christ in us, the hope of glory.